guys? We're at HooDoo Brewing. Let's talk about it.
Welcome to Behind the Brew. We are in Fairbanks, Alaska once again.
Yep.
Dude, second time around.
Yep.
Another big brewery. I'm excited to check these guys out.
Look at this. Look at this logo.
Beautiful logo.
Oh, I've been talking about it all week.
HooDoo Brewing, Fairbanks. Great story. You guys are gonna want to stay tuned for that interview with Bob.
Yep, sit down with Bobby, we talk about it, we hear the story, his story, the story of HooDoo. Pretty cool story. If there's one thing I'm taking away from this trip in general, it's that Alaskans are very proud people, and Alaskans like supporting Alaskans.
Yes.
And they're very tight community-wise around here, and we love that here at Beverage Hunters.
And everything here is brewed here, so it's Alaskan beer.
Absolutely.
Maybe a German style beer, but it's Alaskan and it's Fairbanks.
It's Fairbanks all the way, baby.
All right, let's go get a beer. Let's sit down. You guys subscribe. You sit down. You grab a beer. Join us.
What are you drinking? Drop a comment. What are you drinking right now?
All right, let's go. Welcome to another episode of Behind the Brew, another Fairbanks edition.
Yes, sir.
I'm excited for this episode, and we're here with Bob. How's it going, man?
I'm good. Yes.
Right on.
Fantastic.
I'm Justin, Nick here, and yeah, we're at HooDoo Brewing.
Yes, sir.
And boy, let me tell you, great beer list. Great beer here. We were here yesterday. We tried them. You guys already seen that video, and amazing. And I'm having the IPA. Very good IPA.
Thank you very much. I love it.
Very delicious flavor.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Well, hey, thank you for having us in here to talk to you about your brewery. Let's go ahead and start with you, though. Give us a little bit about your background and kind of what your story is.
Yeah, my story would be I was born and raised here in Fairbanks.
Okay.
My both sets of my grandparents. My parents have been here since the 50s, so a long time. And after high school, I went to business school at the University of Montana in Missoula.
Oh, wow.
And then came back here after school. Got a job I was a research analyst at a company downtown.
Why aren't you still doing that? That sounds so fun, dude.
Man, it was epic. Yeah, it was epic. But down at school in Missoula, there was we lived right near Big Sky Brewing. When Big Sky Brewing, they were in a small brewery, kind of near the campus, and we lived down there. And we heard that they gave away free beer samples. Oh. So we go over there, like, oh my God, they just gave us these little tiny free beers. So we started going there all the time and getting our free beers. They didn't sell pints or anything, just free beers. Maybe get a growler to go, and we just thought it was really cool.
Nice.
And they had a little window into the back kind of production area, and it was all these shiny tanks and seemingly nothing happening. And I was like, I have no idea how beer is made, but that's pretty cool. It's pretty shiny back there. And so I was kind of fascinated by it. And then they'd come out with a new beer, and you're like, I don't even know what I'm tasting, but it's pretty yummy. I like it, and it's tiny and it's free. And then one day a guy came in there and he was like, oh yeah, I made this stout at home, and it turned out really, really good or really bad. I don't remember much from there, but that was the first time I'd ever heard of people making beer at home.
At home, right.
I was just like, oh, what do you mean you made a beer at home? Like, what is it even made out of? I have no idea, So he was like, oh, it's real easy. You just do this and this and this. I was like, oh man, that sounds amazing. And when you get into homebrewing, you kind of think it's going to be this free beer hobby, right? You just got to make it yourself, and it's free.
Not quite that simple?
No, not quite that simple. So anyways, started homebrewing down there, and just loved it, totally loved it, and just started reading anything I could about it, homebrewing all the time.
What did you start with? Do you remember the first beer you made?
Yeah, we made a extra pale ale.
Okay.
Extra pale ale, and we brewed it really the next day after I talked to this guy. We went and got the kit really quick and brewed it, and we even got, we started saving the bottles, and then we even made a label for it. We call it, and when we were brewing it, we're like, oh, this is so cool. Me and my roommate, oh, so cool, so cool. And so we called it Cool Extra Pale Ale. And we made a label for it. I still have a label.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. That's
pretty cool.
You never brought back Cool?
Never brought it back.
Oh,
no.
man. Missed opportunity there.
Cool. Can't do it. You can only do it once. One chance. So home brewing, and then once I got back here, still home brewing, and just going, man, it'd be cool to open a brewery. And then I get this job that was great, but it was in a kind of a cubicle in the basement downtown, and I was, a few months of that, and I'm like, oh my gosh, is this what life's all about?
Right.
Is this where I sit now for the next 20, 30 years, and then that's it? So then I really started thinking about opening a brewery. Fairbanks didn't really have a brewery. There was Silver Gulch out in Fox, but in town proper brewery.
How long between your batch of Cool that you made and going, I want to open a brewery? Like, what was the timeline on that?
I mean, I think we made that in about 1999 or 2000, and then by the time we got back here and got real serious, like, I think I want to open a brewery, was probably in 2003, maybe 3 or 4 years of kind of home brewing, and then, kind of got serious, started trying to do business plans, but I had no idea, where do you buy a tank like that? And how do you even, where do you get that stuff? And what does it even cost? I have no idea who you would even talk to about that, no idea. And this is kind of early in the kind of craft brewing revolution here, so there wasn't a lot
of information. Early 2000s?
Yeah.
That's early, dog.
Yeah, it's early.
Yeah, that was right before the boom, if you will.
So then, I kind of just get stifled by business plans, and then eventually I'm like, well, you're not born with this innate knowledge of opening a brewery. Like, you learn it from somewhere or something.
You got to take
maybe
that
there's
first
like a
step.
school or something. And sure enough, of course, there's schools. And so I applied to the Siebel Institute in Chicago, and I got in, and then I got a scholarship. And I was like, went to my wife. I was like, I got a scholarship to this brewing school. And she's like, you should do it. You got to do it.
She's like, hell yeah, where is it?
Yeah.
You're like, Chicago.
Yeah. So I ended up doing that in 2005, going to their diploma program, a couple months in Chicago, and then you go over to Germany.
Oh, wow.
And do the Munich program over there. So I did that in 2005, and I totally loved it. Met a lot of really cool people. I made kind of home brewers just like me, trying to get into the industry, and then and then just people to contact throughout what became this whole process of just like, where should I put the mill, and what do I do about this? So a lot of places for advice, but the main advice I got at that point was, you should really work at a brewery before you try and open a brewery. Just hold your horses and just work.
Understand the
workflow. Try to work somewhere. And I, and again, I have no idea how I'd pull something like a brewery off. Still at that point, I was like, well, at least want to get in the industry and work with somebody, work for a great brewery. Yeah. So then I applied to a bunch of breweries kind of around the country. I really wanted to stay in Alaska, and really honed in on Alaskan brewing in Juneau, and well-known brewery, great beer. And I applied, and I just sent them a resume and a cover letter, said I really want to be a brewer at your brewery, and then I called them the next day, said, hey, I sent my resume in, what are my chances? And they said, yeah, we have no openings as brewers. We have 6 brewers, and they've all been here forever, and they're not going anywhere. So then I basically kept calling them every 2 weeks. I just kept calling them and just kind of pestering them, and just being the squeaky wheel. And then about 8 months later, they said, yeah, actually, one of our brewers gave his notice. He's going to go do something else. And so we have a position open. So I said, can I come meet with you? I flew down to Juneau, and basically they offered me the job on the spot.
Nice.
Moved down there, worked as a brewer there for 3 years, and then a job opened in their quality control lab, and then I worked in there for about 2 years. And then basically got to the point where the whole time I'd been kind of thinking, still want to open a brewery back in my hometown, and it just kind of kept going that direction. And then at some point I was like, I want to at least say I tried. I really loved my job down there. Great place to live. I love Juneau. I miss it, and I love the brewery down there. but it kind of just got to this point where, like, I got to do it. I got to give it a shot.
Gotta pull the trigger.
So ended up leaving down there and just moving here, moving back into my into my room at my parents' house.
Heck yeah.
And then yeah, found this old building. This was laser tag, Zip Zap's laser tag when I was growing up. But when we found it, it was just nobody had been in here in a long time. It was, kind of for lease. The ceiling was caving in. There's trees all around. It was kind of hidden back in this little wooded area. This is just this old crappy building from the 70s. And so I found the guy that owned it and just started lowballing him with numbers and got it for really cheap.
Wow.
And then just kind of moved in here and spent about the next 2 years turning it into the brewery. Ordered all the equipment custom from Premier in San Diego, and then we opened on Halloween 2012. So that's
Halloween 2012.
Yeah.
That's cool. I was just gonna ask, like, what was your open date?
That was the date. Halloween 20. It really just became in early October. It was just looking like we were able to get the production side done and brew in September of 2012. And then we worked on the tap room, trying to get it to the point of being able to open and get customers in here. And so about mid-October, it was like, we're really close. Let's just set a date, and then that'll be our deadline. So we're like, why not just open at the end of this month, Halloween? So
that's cool.
And we did.
Right on.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So this is the original building that you guys opened with. That's really cool. A lot of places we go to, they say, oh yeah, we started this building across the street down the road.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now we're here. But this is really cool that this is the origin.
Yeah, this is the
spot.
origin. Yeah, and we have a 15-barrel brew house, 4 30-barrel tanks, and then we have this 60-barrel. And we started really with all those 430s and the 15-barrel brew house just because we started basically what I would say kind of big, because there was just this dire need for a hometown brewery in Fairbanks. There was just nothing here.
On the scene at the time.
Nothing here, yeah. So I was like, man, we were going, 7-barrel, 10-barrel or something like that, Then it was like, man,
that's a gamble.
It's a gamble.
That's a gamble starting
big. At some
big
point,
like
you have to make a decision. It was like we got to go a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
And it was a good thing we did, because we've barely been able to keep up. For about the first 8 or 9 years, just could not keep up. And then we finally installed these 2 tanks in 2020. Actually, 2021. We started to install them in 2020.
Well, we know
what
happened. We all know what happened.
They sat here. But then these have kind of been our saving grace, but still just at capacity.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
That's a good problem to have.
That's a very good problem to have.
Right on. So you guys are obviously doing kegs. How far reach do you guys have with the kegs?
We just sell here in Fairbanks generally. So we're maybe, I'm going to guess, like 30 accounts here in town on draft. And there's a place called the Lodge at Black Rapids. That's kind of in the middle of nowhere on the way down the Richardson Highway. I don't know if you guys are going to drive that way, but it's this beautiful lodge in the middle of the Alaska range.
I might have. I think I've seen it.
Yeah, so they have our beer on tap there. Yeah. And then I'll make a trip to Anchorage, usually in the winter when we kind of have a little excess capacity.
Yeah.
Make trips to Anchorage every now and again, just to kind of spread the love down there. We have a lot of fans down there, so just kind of get it down there. But generally, just in Fairbanks. Yeah.
Right on. And you guys, I see a canning machine here. How far reach does that go? And how many beers do you guys can?
Pre-COVID, we canned our Kolsch and our stout. Light beer, dark beer. I'm all about simplicity and not making things super complicated unless they need to be.
Right.
So kind of simple beers, simple logistics, simple everything. So Kolsch and stout. So then COVID happens and we need to can everything, right?
Right. We got to get it to the people.
Yeah, we have to can everything. So now we can basically everything.
Nice.
So our Kolsch, our American IPA, and our stout are kind of our mainframe beers, our flagship beers.
Okay.
And those are on all the time. And then everything else just
kind of rotates in.
Never-ending rotation. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Right. Well, let's talk about the American IPA real quick. Give us some details on this bad boy.
Yeah, a real simple grain profile. Just 2-row US 2-row malt, and then Crystal 40. So real simple. So I like the simplicity in beers. So you can say that's what C40 tastes like. That's that caramel flavor.
Yeah.
I like it where you can just nail it down to just one malt. And then hops-wise, it's purely Centennial hops, one of my favorite hops. So it's inspired by one of my favorite beers when I was in Chicago going to the Siebel Institute was Bell's Two Hearted. Bell's Two Heartedale, and I'm like, oh, I got to learn how to make this beer.
Yeah.
How'd they do this?
Right.
So then to find out it's all Centennials, a little bit of caramel malt. So I started messing around with recipes, and this is what we came up with. But
Wow.
yeah, I love it.
It's really good. And about your simple beer list that you just really honed in on those, that is brilliant. And I was talking about it quite a bit yesterday as well, and I keep telling Nick, like, just good, clean beers that you really put focus on, and they're not complicated, and you just really kind of gave them that extra bit of love. And I can tell, like, every beer is just crisp, clean, delicious, easy to drink.
Thank you.
And that's fantastic. I really am impressed with these.
Yeah, thank you. We really focus on making classic styles for the most part. Just classic styles, but making them, best ingredients, most appropriate ingredients. So, any German beer we make is Weyermann Pilsner malt. The grain is from Germany. Any English beers we make, we have a UK IPA we do every once in a while, an ESB. But any English beers, all the malt, all the hops from England. So we try and keep each beer as specifically tuned to, what that classic style would be.
Right.
Yeah, that's really
not trying to fill in gaps you don't need to fill in.
No, it's not trying to save a penny here, penny there by the pound on the grain or anything like that. It's, we're making this beer. Okay, let's get the Maris Otter.
You have to.
You have to. Yeah.
I mean, there's a difference. That was one of the first things we commented on when we walked in yesterday, because we went to another brewery first and they had just a rip of stuff on tap. I mean, when we were like, oh, we're gonna get a flight, and they were like, what do you want? We were like, what's yours? And they're like, everything's ours. We were like, okay, shit, all right. And when we walk in here, and it was like, oh man,
just one.
It's just clean. this clean sheet of beer here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I kind of see it as almost like a big home brewery, and instead of devoting time to naming beers and coming up with marketing plans for beers and things like that, it's just very, very simple. It's like,
let the beer sell itself.
Here's our current batch of IPA. Here's our current batch of Goza. We're adjusting the recipes all the time, kind of always make them better, of course. And like, here's the current version of this style of beer that we did our best to make. That's kind of the idea behind it.
Do you have other brewers on staff here, or is it just you?
Unfortunately, I don't brew a whole lot anymore, but we have two great brewers, Hannah and Amanda.
Okay.
And then Paul is kind of he's been my right-hand man since the beginning of the brewery, since day one. And he brews now and again. He kind of manages the wholesale operation now to get out to the bars we self-distribute. But Hannah and Amanda do the brunt of the work.
Okay.
And they're fantastic.
They're doing a great
brewers.
job.
Oh, they are doing a great job. I'll tell you what.
They're hard workers, and their attention to detail is amazing. And we just hired a new brewing assistant, Josh. So he's just deer in the headlights.
Yeah.
Just learning,
trying to absorb.
just like scrubbing kegs and just like learning. So anyways, yeah,
where you start.
Great brewing team, and we really focus on. Giving people the time they need to, like today I was hunting, so to enjoy Alaska, because that's what Alaska's all about, just getting out there when the weather cooperates and you get out there. So we try and have a lot of overlap in what we do, is so that, you want to head out and go camping or go to Anchorage or go out in the woods for the weekend, well, we got you. We can all cover each other. So we try and make it a great place to work in that way.
I think
very flexible.
That's actually.
I think on this trip, one of the biggest takeaways I have that is very heartwarming and awesome is like, sitting down talking to you today. We talked with Carrie at Black Spruce. Other things in the community we've been kind of checking out in the last couple of days. Alaskans love supporting Alaskans, man. Supporting Alaska businesses.
Absolutely.
Carrie's story is very similar. It was like, I moved away, I learned how to do this, and then like, well, why Fairbanks? He's like, well, why wouldn't it be Fairbanks? This is home. We're kind of getting the same story from you. I really like that. We come from a pretty rural area in the state we're from, and it's very similar, very community driven. Everybody's tight knit. So I absolutely love that.
Yeah,
I love hearing that.
Well, in Alaska, sorry to cut you off.
No,
in Alaska, there's not a lot that's really made here.
Right.
Too.
Yeah.
So
a lot of it just comes in. A lot of it just comes in. So when there's things that are actually made here by Alaskans, it's like, I will drink that, I will eat that, I will totally support that, because it's actually kind of rare.
It's awesome. We met a couple guys here yesterday. They saw us shooting and talked to us, and the love the community has for that is amazing. and not to put you on the spot and make you feel awkward, but everywhere we went that involves beer so far has been like, you been to HooDoo?
No.
Yeah.
Have you met Bob?
Talk about
That place
HooDoo.
is awesome.
Yeah.
So like, what you guys are doing here is awesome and working, and your beer's fantastic, and like, congratulations, man.
Thank you.
This is
I appreciate it.
awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Have I told you how cool your font is?
Yeah.
That's actually the first thing you said.
At least once an hour, Nick's like, oh man, that HooDoo look, the font. I'm like, shut up, nerd. Speaking of HooDoo, what's the story behind the name, HooDoo?
Yeah, so the story behind the name, so when we were, we're going to open a brewery. We're doing it. And then actually we didn't know what we were going to call the brewery, even as I remember we were tearing out all the concrete in this building, and we were working on the brewery, and we're going to open someday, hopefully in a year or two.
Yeah.
Still not sure what we're going to call it, because I had, of course, the list of 50 names I'd come up with over the years. So
You and all the buddies texting each other ideas back and forth. This would be cool.
Nice, that's cool.
So, but HooDoo comes from when I was growing up. My brother and I would go snow machining down, actually near that lodge at Black Rapids, down on the Alaska Range. There's a lake down there called Summit Lake, right on the highway. And come on through, Cassie.
Yeah, you're not bothering us at all.
Carry the keg?
No way. You're good.
Whatever you do, get it on camera.
You might drop it on camera.
Time to throw it.
But so Summit Lake is this epic snow machining area above tree line, endless powder glaciers,
Wow, nice.
no trees, just huge mountains. There's a group of mountains in there called the HooDoos. And so people always go, let's head back toward the HooDoos or whatever. So when we'd snow machine down there, we'd go do that. And so one day I was like, that'd be a cool name for a brewery. Many years later, we're trying to take this list of 50 names.
Squeeze it down to some finalists.
Okay, let's do 20 names, 10 names, 3 names. And so anyways, that was the one that stuck. And one of the main reasons being, a lot of people don't even know the HooDoos are there. It's kind of local, but it's not really local.
Right.
It's kind of it's a catchy word, of course, but the last maybe 3 to 5 names, we printed them out in a million different fonts and just imagined them on shirts and stuff like that.
Sure.
And we turned the HooDoo into one word, capitalized the D. It was like, we love that.
Was there a second place that you almost had your brewery named?
One that I was really going for, that Jessica, my wife, was not going for. So I would say second place. There's a thing between Fairbanks and Anchorage. We call it Los Anchorage. It's the coolest thing about Anchorage is that it's only a couple hours from Alaska. and then they make fun of Fairbanks all the time, of course. So it's Squarebanks. Squarebanks. So I wanted to call it Square Brewing Company.
Okay.
And then the logo is just like a square.
Sure,
I think I just
right.
saw a shortcut there. So I'm glad that didn't win.
Yeah, I'm glad you went with HooDoo.
Yeah, HooDoo's way cool.
Me too.
It would have been hard to come up with a cool font that said Square.
Square.
Yeah.
All right, so as far as your future plans, what do you guys have planned for the future? Do you plan on growing any bigger, or are you guys going to really just focus on what you have here?
Yeah, I would say, we try not to plan too far in the future, to be honest with you. It's again, I'm really focused on just kind of the lifestyle. And, I have 2 young kids, and I focus on that. Of course, focus on the brewery.
Sure.
But it's, we don't have plans to kind of take over the world or grow leaps and bounds. It's kind of, Alaska's interesting because, especially Fairbanks, is that we're kind of end of the road. Very isolated population. The next population is Anchorage, Los Anchorage.
Shots fired.
350 miles away,
Right.
for this other population base. So if you're trying to, go to the next level and get a big tank farm and really, it's like, well, where are you going to send the beer? Washington.
Right.
I mean, you could, but I think up here you're a little isolated to the fact that you're just like, really focus on Fairbanksons, the tap room, our friends and neighbors.
And it's a good tourist destination.
Yeah.
Obviously.
People will kind of come to you. We're just kind of doing
Until
what
the
we're
tourists find out they can only have 2 beers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then they're like, what?
Excuse me? Well, they'll try and get a third.
I'm sure
They'll try and
No, my friend's outside. I'm getting one for him.
They got the backpack on and the camera around the neck. They're like, we know what you're doing. But anyways, it's really just, honestly, my focus is creating a great place to work, because a happy, fun place to work, there's nothing better than that.
Well, it changes
For
people's
sure.
lives,
Oh,
regardless of the money.
Awesome.
Sure.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's just like that. I've learned that has to kind of become a focus of my job.
Well,
It's just-
having been worked in a basement cubicle,
exactly, yeah.
you don't want to have the environment of a basement cubicle.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That was.
That'd be hard to do. You can do it.
How about food-wise? Are those food trucks you guys have out front that
Yeah,
are
food
like yours
trucks.
specifically?
No, we when we opened, we're not doing a kitchen, because we went down the idea of, let's make a pizza place.
Right.
We'll just do the brew pub thing, because there's very little of this taproom model before we opened in Alaska, doing this, selling direct like this. So what people had done was, well, you must have food or nobody's going to come, especially because you have to stop serving at 8. Who
Right.
drinks beer before 8? Nobody, unless you're having dinner.
Right.
So,
No,
but
for
we went down that road, and then we were like, no, we're just going to do it. We're not going to have food. We're not going to have anything. So the first couple of years, it was just bring some food if you want. We got beer, and then there's a guy named Lane. He wanted to make some tacos in our tap room. He's like, what if I came in on Saturday and just kind of made tacos in the corner? We're like, oh, that'd be good. Saturdays are pretty dead when we opened. So he'd make his tacos in the corner, and now he has a restaurant here, Lane's Quickie Tacos. But we started getting busy on Saturdays, because he'd set up and they'd come in for their tacos, and I'll just grab a beer or whatever. And we're like,
Nice.
we gotta have food. It obviously makes sense. That was
Right.
kind of the number one complaint, is like, well, we gotta leave because I want to get a
Yeah, I'm gonna get a burger
or something, because I kind of need to eat.
So I gotta go get my other 2 beers somewhere else.
And there was really no food truck scene here. And then so Lane kind of started that off, and then another group, they're like, oh, we want to make nachos. We make our own salsa at the farmers market. We want to make some nachos here. Let's try it. So we kind of eased into that, and then eventually somebody had a food truck, and I want to say it was cheesesteaks or something. But we're like, yeah, pull up outside. Let's see how that goes. Great. And then kind of a food truck scene is now around Fairbanks,
Sure.
because it's super seasonal. Obviously, it's,
Right. Yeah.
It's 40 below.
Here
no
it's
food
definitely
trucks.
seasonal.
Yeah, it's extremely seasonal. Yeah. So there's not a lot of people that want to jump into the food truck scene up here. Now there are a decent amount, and they're very, very good, because same thing. They're very hardworking Alaskans.
That's cool.
But so now we just have a rotating schedule. Every day, a different food truck.
That's
Oh,
all.
cool.
Yeah, we kind of, a lot of times it's okay. Hungry Robot Pizza is here every Wednesday this month, but maybe next month it's every Thursday.
Sure.
Now we got this new food truck coming in every Wednesday, so it kind of
However it
rotates
kind
and
of fits
changes.
into the
However it
puzzle.
kind of fits in, but it's kind of an ever-changing menu,
Right on.
which is great, because we don't.
Well, you're also supporting other local businesses.
Yeah, and it becomes kind of an incubator for them. There's a couple of our food trucks that come regularly. They're planning on opening restaurants, and they're just going, I'm going to do this for a couple more years, and then I'm going to build this place, and they have ideas.
Right.
So this is their way to actually get in front of Fairbanksans, that really they get a loyal following. There's Conrad. He does classic German food.
Nice.
And he comes every Thursday, and he's got a huge following. And people, they come Thursday for the schnitzel and the beer. And it's like, it's really, really good. He's been doing that. He's 6 or 7 years coming here. And so, yeah, it becomes kind of an incubator for them too. So it's awesome.
That
It's
is awesome.
Right on. What other ways is your brewery connected to the local community?
We do a lot of kind of events.
Nice.
Really, as much as we can do. The brewery laws are restrictive, as you've learned.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we try and do just fun things just to make Fairbanks a better place to live. We do, coming up here at the end of September, we have the HooDoo Choo Choo. So
I've seen that on Instagram,
yeah,
actually.
Yep.
That's
So we
like
charter
really
the
cool.
train, because we're right here we're on railroad property here, actually.
Nice.
But we charter the train, go to Nenana and back. It's about 4.5 hours. But we
Nice.
just have beer, amazing food.
That's cool.
Yeah, just super cool. Oktoberfest themed. It's an awesome event.
We might have to come up here and do an episode with that.
I think you
that
should.
sounds like that would be
That sounds
really
awesome.
fun.
I've never even been on a train, dude.
What?
Never been on a train.
Kill
I
two
need to get
birds
him
with one
out.
stone.
Dude,
I don't think you guys are leaving.
dude, this trip.
No, I think we
trip's
might
making
just
me think
stay
about
in
it.
Fairbanks.
This trip's making me think about it.
But we do, then we do a half marathon about a week later. That's the last half marathon in the state. And then we do what's called reindeer and beer. So we get some reindeer in the beer garden.
Wow.
And people can come get their pictures with the reindeer, and then if they get a free picture with the reindeer, if they donate food, give all that to the food bank.
Sweet.
Awesome. And we do all sorts of other fun stuff.
That's awesome, dude.
That's top of my yeah.
Heck yeah.
But yeah, we try and be involved as much as we can. We try and support the nonprofits as much as we can in town, and support the art scene. We have we don't do First Fridays, really just because of the overwhelm of organizing that each month. We kind of just said, we'll just skip that. We'll just focus on other things. So we do our 2 major annual beer releases are Oktoberfest, which releases the same day they release it, the Oktoberfest in Munich when the Oktoberfest starts, so on the 16th of September this year. And then our Maibach, which comes out mid-May. So those 2 beers are kind of the bookends of summer for us. And so for those, we commission a local artist, come up with some great art to kind of put on, hoodies. This is one of the hoodies.
Sweet.
But hoodies, on the cans. Those are the 2 main ones that we actually do a full kind of marketing artwork plan for. And those, like I said, kind of bookend summer. So, the snow's finally gone, late April. Could be into May.
Sure.
None of the green is there yet. But kind of once May starts, it could, get into the 70s or 80s. And once you get through a Fairbanks winter, it's like everybody here is. So then the Maibach releases in the beginning of summer, and then the Oktoberfest is mid-September. It's obviously starting to cool down. We have early kind of fall. Our falls are very short. It's kind of summer, winter.
Right.
So release Oktoberfest. That's kind of like, okay, summer's over. Everybody's so exhausted from summer up here. It's 24-hour daylight for a few months. It's like nonstop party, and so everybody's like cruise into kind of September, have some Oktoberfest, wear your lederhosen, and then it's kind of just waiting for the snow. So
Sure.
those are the kind of 2 bookend events, the major releases for us. So
Okay.
and we try and do events all around town with those events, just to kind of It's just the perfect fit up here. The whole summer winter seasonal aspect of Fairbanks is unlike anywhere else in the country. So
For sure. So are you guys open year-round still?
Yeah, open year-round. Still very busy in the winter because it's generally locals, and we get a lot of tourists in the winter. Not as many as in the summer, but But we still have we have the fire pits in the beer garden.
Nice.
And those are in the winter. Those are going all the time.
I'd love to come up here in the winter and check it out. I haven't been up here in the winter ever, I don't think.
You should.
Yeah.
It's great. But there's people, it's 20, 30 below, and there's people outside.
Yeah, you guys would have to hear me bitch a lot if I was 30 below. I'm half Mexican. I got.
Nope.
That's a little.
We'll just
cold for my
pump a
blood.
couple Kolsch's in you and you'll
Exactly.
be
Exactly. There are ways around it.
right on. Have we covered all the bases, man?
I think so, man.
What time is it? I got time for some more beer, so we should hit the bar before we get out of here. Well, hey, thank you, Bob, very much. Great story. I can't wait to get this video out for everybody.
Is there anything you want anybody to know?
Is there
anything big, anything going on?
Not really.
Come try some beer.
Come on up to Fairbanks. Yeah, we got a great little brewing scene, and there's the saying about Fairbanks where the people are unusual and the beer is unusually good. So I'll give credit to Silver Gulch for coining that one. It's true.
Very good, very good.
All right.
Well, hey guys, thanks for joining us. This is
Thank
HooDoo.
you.
Get out here to HooDoo in Fairbanks. Tell them Beverage Hunter sent you, and try some of their great beers on tap, and just have a great time. And this is definitely a destination to hit if you're up here in Fairbanks. All right, that's it. Time for more beer. Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye.
Drink local, support local. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Hell yeah. Thanks, man.
Awesome.
Dude,
Thanks for your time.
it's great.
Appreciate
That was
it.
a great story.
I was like worried. I was like stressed out all about. I was like, man, he said he was going hunting. I hope he's not like. Hope we're not fucking up his hunting day or something. That would bum me out.
Nope. Give me a good.
Look at that. That's pretty. Which one is that?
Goza.
Oh.
Yeah, just traditional Goza with Sea salt and coriander in the boil.
Wow.
Yeah, certainly. And you know, kettle soured with just grain. You know, not a culture or anything. Just kettle soured over about 24 hours.
Okay.
Just to get the natural kettle sour. And just try and make it as traditional as possible.
Yeah.
You did? Oh, cool.
See, I told you guys, what an epic episode.
Drank too much.
He did. You're a little messed up. Hey, look at this. Hey, you know what?
Look at
Come
the
on.
hat, baby.
All right. Well, hey, I hope you guys enjoyed that story. Make sure you guys drop a comment. Once again, like he said, you told him to.
I did.
What were you guys drinking? And have you been to HooDoo? And if you haven't, book a trip with TripAdvisor, the proud sponsor.
Yeah. Hey, book ahead of time, because if you need a rental vehicle here
There
in
isn't
Fairbanks,
any
you
right
better
now.
book out months in advance,
best
or you're
book.
hoofing it to HooDoo.
Your best book.
You're using your Lamborghinis, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we almost did.
your Chevrolets.
It wasn't fun. Okay. Well, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next Behind the Brew episode.
Bye.